Hello there, you beautiful people! My name is Willow, and today I'm taking on my first ever challenge video. I really enjoy watching other creators like MaDryBread and Mitten Squad doing their challenge videos, and I've decided to give it a shot myself. So, I'm not really all that great at video games, I'm generally bad at them, and I haven't ever beaten any Pokemon games before, but I do find them fun and figured it'd be interesting to learn while I go. So without a further ado, today we find out if a noob can beat Pokemon Fire Red with a team of only one Krabby. I know people have done way harder challenges and most people who play Pokemon are way better than me, but I hope this will be fun and enjoyable all the same. So jumping in head first, let's take a look at Krabby. Overall, its stats aren't great, but aren't horrible. It has the 8th lowest health and 7th lowest special stats in the game, meaning we are super weak to special attacks. This is balanced out by having a decent attack of 105 and defense of 90, but overall, I think that speed will be the most troublesome stat, sitting at 50. It's not the worst in the world, but it is pretty slow. I'm worried about Pokemon with high speed and special becoming huge roadblocks for us. We also don't learn very many moves and have very little type variety by level up, not really learning a strong water move until level 35. Luckily, we learn a ton of moves by TMs to help with that. The highlight moves I'm interested in are Crab Hammer, Ice Beam, and Dig. I'm writing the script as I go along, so all of this part has been written before starting. Let me know with a comment down below if you think I can beat this challenge. While you're down there, consider hitting the like or subscribe button and ring the bell. I think I can win, but it's going to be difficult, and I'm unsure if I can do it below level 100. Let's do a quick once-over of the rules I'm going to be using. In battle, I can only use Krabby. I'll be using other Pokemon for HMs, but won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No using glitches or exploits. No items in battle with the exception of Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of battles. Right off the bat, I'll be using the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Squirtle with Krabby so we can use it for the entire challenge. I replaced Squirtle so my opponent would use Bulbasaur, who I believed to be the most difficult of the starters for us to deal with. I name our rival Seraphim, and we start the game. Our challenge begins in our bedroom, where we promptly rush downstairs, get told by Mom to go see Professor Oak, and immediately ignore that advice, going on a suicidal sprint towards the tall grass where Pokemon wait ready to kill children like me. Unfortunately, Professor Oak stops us from winning our Darwin Award and takes us back to his lab to give Seraphim and myself our starter Pokemon. I name her Megalith, and as we attempt to leave, Seraphim challenges us to our first battle. I guess now would be a good time to talk about Megalith's starting moves. They're trash. We start with Bubble, a 20 power water move, and Leer, a move which lowers the enemy's defense stat, and considering our opponent has Bulbasaur, a grass type that resists water, we do pretty much no damage. I attempted to Leer to lower Bulbasaur's defense and hope it would help, maybe increase our damage output, but in the end we just slowly die to tackle, barely dealing half of Bulbasaur's health and damage. After disappointing Professor Oak in our first battle, we make our way to Viridian City, where I get super confused about where to go next and decide to do some grinding on the Mankeys in Route 22, before eventually deciding to go to the Pokemart and get Professor Oak's parcel, which I didn't know was what I was supposed to do. After trekking back to Pallet Town, we deliver it to him, and he gives both us and Seraphim Pokedexes, which are, and I quote, high-tech encyclopedias, because that's what every kid wants. Either way, we return to Viridian City, where a man who was previously laying on the ground and ranting about private property has now so kindly stopped blocking us from going into Viridian Forest, where we proceed to blow bubbles at Caterpies and Kakunas until we hit level 10. A quick run to the Poke Center, and we return to Viridian Forest to fight our first trainers. The first 3 are easy, we just blow bubbles at their Pokemon until there are none left. On the 4th trainer, we gain enough experience to hit level 12 and unlock the move Vice Grip, a 55 power normal type move, making the last 2 trainers in Viridian Forest go from easy to trivial. We continue on our journey and reach Pewter City. After wandering around a bit aimlessly, we make our way into Brock's gym and proceed to mop the floor with Brock's Geodude and Onix by blowing bubbles. So far, things have been a breeze. I'm not sure how long this will last, but I'm sure the other shoe is gonna drop any moment. We continue on our way as some dude from Professor Oak's gym. Wait, why did I put gym in the script? it's a lab. He comes along and gives us a pair of running shoes and a letter from Professor Oak where he calls us his beloved challenger, which hits all of my nope receptors immediately. Luckily, he gave me the ability to run away, and now we are fast as fuck, boy. We continue along Route 3, beating all of the trainers with ease, making our way into Mount Moon. Mount Moon consists of us fighting a bunch of regular trainers, along with a group of gangsters called Team Rocket. The last trainer we go up against is some scientist who's trying to hoard fossils. We beat up his Pokemon, and he says we can have one of the fossils. I take the dumb fossil and head on my way. We exit Mount Moon and start our journey on Route 4. I feel like now is a good time to talk about Megalith and where we stand strength-wise. We are level 21, and I didn't mention this earlier, but she has the ability Shell Armor, which blocks critical hits, and her nature is Docile, which apparently lowers defense and raises special defense. This seems like a good thing since we are quite weak to special attacks, so I'm happy with it. Moving on, we blow through Route 4 with no issues and reach Cerulean City, where we beeline into Misty's water gym with all of the confidence in the world. After blowing through the two trainers, I reach Misty. She sends out Staryu and starts using Harden. This is a bit annoying, but with some liberal use of Vice Grip, we take down the Staryu. After that, she sends out Starmie, who proceeds to absolutely destroy us with Water Pulse since we are weak to special moves. I think I'll need a few more levels to beat this gym, so I decide to grind on any trainers I can find and some wild Pokemon in the area. While looking for other trainers, we encounter Seraphim and he challenges us to a battle. I get worried when his Pidgeotto leads with Sand Attack, but we manage to take it down with a Vice Grip. After that, he sends out his Bulbasaur and uses Sleep Powder and Leech Seed, but we kill him with a Vice Grip as well. The rest of his team is trivial, as we outspeed all of them and they all get one shot with Vice Grip. We then proceed to clear out all of the trainers north of Cerulean City and help a dude named Bill turn back to a human after accidentally turning himself into a Clefairy. He gives us a ticket for the SS Anne and we return to Cerulean City to fight Misty once more. This time we roll over her quite easily, one-shotting Staryu with a crit and killing Starmie in 2 mud shots, which I didn't really mention, but we did learn Mud Shot as we leveled up earlier. Having beat the gym, we make our way south towards Vermilion City, fighting every trainer along the way. When we reach Vermilion City, I heal up at the Poké Center and make our way over to the east to fight more trainers. I'm a little bit worried we're gonna get steamrolled soon, especially with the electric gym coming up, so I decided to grind to level 30. We enter the SS Anne, steal a super potion from a kid, fight some sailors and cruise ship passengers, before stumbling into a fight with Seraphim. Yet again, he leads with Pidgeotto, using Quick Attack instead this time. We one-shot it with Stomp and move on to fighting Bulbasaur. We Stomp and Bulbasaur poisons us with Poison Powder, then faints to a second Stomp. After that, we one-shot his Raticate with Stomp and his Kadabra with Dig. Overall, the fight wasn't really close, but got a bit dangerous, bringing us to half health. We speak to the captain and he gives us our first HM cut, and with that we leave the SS Anne, and I figure now is as good a time as any to talk about how I approach HMs. I looked into a good Pokemon for carrying HMs and found out people really like using Krabby and Kingler, and I thought it might be funny to have another Krabby that we use, but instead I figured it'd be fun to see something else. We pick up a Meowth on Route 5 and name him MDF&B because that's hilarious. I know most of these challenge runs don't mention their HM Pokemon, but I don't know. I felt it'd be a really fun opportunity to talk about something different. Also, if you're curious as to why the name is so funny, go check out Madrybread's Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Let's Play. It's amazing and I watched it while editing videos a while back. I chose Meowth because he has the ability Pickup because it sounds like it could be super useful. Okay, enough rambling, let's get back to the run. So far, everything has been kind of a breeze, and with the level advantage, we just destroyed Seraphim in the SS Anne fight. We're about to take on Lieutenant Surge's Electric Gym. I'm a bit worried about it as we are weak to electric types. I feel we're gonna have to use Dig as a crutch to beat him. The trainers leading up to Surge in this weird trash can puzzle thing that took me way too long to complete are, fittingly enough, quite trash themselves, so none of them even landed a hit on our hero Megalith. We approach Lieutenant Surge and he leads with Voltorb, who I was sure would outspeed us, but surprisingly, we outspeed him and start the fight by one-shotting him with Dig. After that, Surge sends out Pikachu, who we outspeed, but unfortunately, Pikachu knows Double Team, and we miss our first Dig and get paralyzed by Thunder Wave before taking out Pikachu with a Stomp. Then he sends out Raichu, who outspeeds us and takes us down with a shockwave. Honestly, I kinda think I can win this with some better RNG, so I don't go grinding levels. Oh, also I forgot to save, so I'm an idiot. I go back and recatch Meowth and redo that awful trash can puzzle. Afterwards, we attempt the fight another 6 or 7 times, waiting to get good enough RNG to reach Raichu unparalyzed, only to realize he still outspeeds us and one-shots Megalith with Shockwave. So turns out I have to grind. Anyways, I go off and hunt for more trainers and wild Pokemon to fight, and come back after grinding to level 35. We return and use Dig to deal with Voltorb, and stomp Pikachu before he can double team. Surge then sends out Raichu again, and we one-shot him with Dig because now we're faster. With the gym defeated, we make our way to Rock Tunnel, and oh my god, I thought the trash cans were annoying, but no. Spending 30 minutes walking aimlessly in Rock Tunnel was way worse. Luckily, we make it through and enter Lavender Town. I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing or where I'm supposed to go to progress, but decided that the Pokemon Tower looks cool, so we enter it. On the second floor, we see our rival Seraphim, so naturally we walk up and immediately engage in a battle. He starts off by sending out Pidgeotto, and we get the first hit in with Stomp. He then uses Gust, which does no damage to us, and we finish off the Pidgeotto with Bubble. After that, Ivysaur comes out, and yet again we are faster, almost one-shotting it with Dig before getting absolutely demolished by a one-shot from his Razor Leaf. I'm not sure if this is a guaranteed one-shot, so I'm going to give it another couple of tries, and we get insane luck on the very next attempt. To start off, the Pidgeotto interaction is almost unchanged. It quick attacks us, and we follow up with a Stomp and Bubble to take it out. He sends out Ivysaur and decides to use Poison Powder on us instead of using Razor Leaf, as we miss a Guillotine. Then we use Stomp and cause Ivysaur to flinch, and finish him off with another Stomp. Then my heart dropped as I saw Gyarados come out. I decided to use Guillotine and cross my fingers, and amazingly, it worked. One-hit KOing Gyarados before one-shotting his Growlithe and Kadabra. We win the battle, we are victorious! And to top it all off, and just showcase how much of an incompetent noob I am, I forget to hit B after the fight to stop evolving Krabby to Kingler, meaning I have to redo the rival fight. So yeah, big oof! I won't bore you with describing the fight again because it's honestly the same strategies and it's also more boring. So moving on, we continue our way up the Pokemon Tower, and it's actually quite difficult. Multiple trainers become stumbling blocks, requiring me to run to the Poké Center quite often. After battling through every trainer, we reach a set of stairs that has a ghost blocking us from using them, so I guess I have to come back here later? We leave Lavender Town, and while exploring on Route 8, I run into twin girls and get my first double battle. I'm not sure how I should approach these, but I use a simple rule of only Krabby can deal damage. So I made Meowth just growl, and no idea if that's controversial, but I don't know any other way to tell a Pokemon not to do anything. Afterwards, we make our way to Erica's grass gym, and like the other gyms, the trainers leading up to the gym leader were pushovers. While Erica herself is another story, as she has a scary lineup. She starts with a Victory Bell that consistently takes us down with a Sunspore Giga Drain combo right off the bat. I decide that using Guillotine to knock it out is my best move, and keep resetting until it works. Eventually, we land Guillotine, taking out Victory Bell. Erica sends out her Tangela and uses Ingrain as we use Dig, getting a lucky crit, bringing Tangela down into red HP. She then uses Giga Drain to bring us down to 44 HP as we finish off Tangela with a Stomp. Next, she sends out Vileplume, who knocks us out with a Giga Drain. This fight is gonna be hard, but I feel like it's doable. I just need better RNG and to use different moves, so I continue attempting Erica's fight for a while until the stars align and we have this battle. It starts off yet again with Guillotine into her Victory Bell, which knocks it out immediately, followed by Tangela missing Poison Powder and then using a Hyper Potion and going down to Stomp without ever hitting us. We then use Guillotine again and get lucky enough to one-shot Vileplume, winning us the battle. Earlier, while exploring, I talked to a Team Rocket member who told me not to go to some poster in the casino in Celadon City, so naturally we go there and find a Team Rocket hideout, which basically entails fighting a ton of Team Rocket members. After getting a lift key from one of the Rocket Grunts, we make our way to the big bad boos of Team Rocket. Wait a second, I misspelled boss in my script. It's Boos. Whatever, let's go with it. We make our way to the big bad booze of Team Rocket, Giovanni, and it was kinda disappointing. The two guards outside his room were way harder than him in my opinion. We steamroll his team without taking damage using Crabhammer to take out his Onyx and Rhyhorn before using Crabhammer and Stomp to finish off Kangaskhan. Either way, he gave us the Sylph Scope, so I guess we can go back to the Pokemon Tower and finish that off now, so you know, yay! Before finishing the Pokemon Tower, I wanted to take a quick pit stop to check out how Megalith is progressing. We're currently level 48 and here are our stats. I'm not sure how IVs or EVs work, but to be honest, I'm kinda just hoping it won't matter. Overall, the run has been going well so far, but still have that feeling that it's gonna ramp up in difficulty here soon. I think that the enemy Pokemon are catching up in level and I feel like I'm gonna have to do some major grinding soon. Back to the run, we make our way up the Pokemon Tower once again to find out the ghost that was blocking us earlier was a Marowak. We beat it up with Crabhammer and Stomp so we can ascend the stairs and find even more Team Rocket guns. How many people are in Team Rocket? I feel like I've seen more Team Rocket members than normal people as of late. We steamroll all of the grunts and meet this guy named Mr. Fuji who takes us home to his house and family and gives us a Pokeflute. A little bit weird, but you know what? Let's just go with it. I decide to go over to the game corner and get the TM for Ice Beam to help round out our moves as we get further into the run. I decided to replace Guillotine because while it's been super useful so far, I feel like Ice Beam will have more useful situations overall. Our moveset is currently Crabhammer, Dig, Stomp, and Ice Beam. I would like more type coverage, but I'm unsure what I want to replace Stomp with just yet, as having a normal type attacking move has been super useful throughout the game so far. We leave the game corner, and I decide to go pick up the HM Fly really quick, but I forgot to record it. But I did remember to record getting our next HM Pokemon, a Pidgey we named Taxi, because it fits pretty well. We then fly around a bit and get a bike voucher from the Pokemon Fan Club to get a bike before we wake up a Snorlax and set off on Route 16 to make our way to Fuchsia City. Upon arriving, we make our way to Koga's Poison Gym and challenge him to a battle. He leads with Coughing, and we open up with Stomp, bringing the Coughing down to yellow HP, while he retaliates with Smokescreen, lowering our accuracy, which makes me a bit worried. We finish off his Coughing with a Crabhammer, and he sends out Muck, and oh my god, is this Muck absolutely infuriating! He starts off with a Minimize, making himself more evasive, and then he uses Hyper Potions repeatedly while spamming both Minimize and Acid Armor, making himself incredibly tanky and hard to hit. And to top it all off, he also has Sludge and Toxic, which he can use to poison us. He takes a lot of time and effort, but we take him out relatively unscathed, which is super lucky, and Koga sends out his second Coughing, who uses Toxic, badly poisoning us before we manage to stomp it out. Now Koga sends out his last Pokemon, a level 43 Weezing, who uses Sludge to finish us off. After many attempts, I realized I can't deal with the combination of Coughing using Smokescreen, Muck using Minimize and Acid Armor, and the Weezing having both Smokescreen and Sludge. So I decide to go grind a little bit, get a few more levels, and see if we can make this a bit more bearable. We return to Route 16 and fight all of the trainers I could find, and return at level 58 for another attempt, and manage to make him waste a Hyper Potion on his first Coughing before using Stomp to finish it off. We get super lucky one-shotting Muck with a Dig, and force Koga to waste his last Hyper Potion on the second Coughing. Then the Weezing comes out, and we use Stomp and Crabhammer to finish him off before he can do any significant damage, finally beating Koga's Poison Gym after about 40 attempts. After beating Koga's gym, we run through the Safari Zone to get the Strength and Surf HMs. We then go catch a Psyduck and name it Goose before teaching it Strength and Surf. I think this is the last HM Pokemon I need as well, which is cool. We make our way to Seafoam Island, which is another one of those puzzle caves, and I try to avoid fighting as many trainers since I feel we're a bit overleveled as it is. And after struggling with the cave for a bit, we make it out on the other side and continue to Cinnabar Island. We reach it, and the gym is locked. Where the heck am I supposed to go? So I wander around super confused, trying to figure out how to get to Saffron City, since it's the only place I've yet to go. And after way too much time, I wander into the Celadon City mansion and get tea from this old lady and decide to see if that would let me pass the Saffron guards. And maybe it's because I don't read much of what NPCs say, but my lord was this obscure. I refused to look up a guide, so this took me an incredibly long time to figure out. Let me know if I'm dumb or not in the comments, but moving on, we go to Saffron City and enter the Silphco office building, which is swarming with members of Team Rocket. Who would have guessed? It also has these weird teleportation pads, which are kind of the gimmick or puzzle of this dungeon. We find a card key, which sounds so wrong, but that's how they name it, on floor 5, which we can use to open all the locked doors. Then after wandering and exploring, we find our rival, who of course challenges us to a battle, and we gladly accept. He leads with Pidgeot, who goes down to a stomp that flinches it, leading to another stomp, surprisingly enough. Next up is his Venusaur. We use Dig to avoid his sleep powder and deal decent damage, and he misses his second sleep powder attempt as we use Dig once again to take him down. Seraphim then sends out his Gyarados, which intimidates us, lowering our attack as we open up with an Ice Beam, dealing little damage before he retaliates with a Dragon Rage. We then proceed to stomp twice, getting a lucky flinch to take it down. Then we use Dig to one-shot his Growlithe before he sends out Alakazam, who we also one-shot with Dig. Overall, we got super lucky with the RNG on that battle, but I'm pretty sure we would have been able to get through it without such great luck. Moving on, we go up to Giovanni, who leads with a Nidorino that we one-shot with Stomp. He then sends out a Nidoqueen. We use Ice Beam to start, taking a third of her HP before she hits us with a double kick, doing little damage. Then we finish her off with Crabhammer. Next up is his Kangaskhan, who we hit with Ice Beam and freeze right off the bat, which is super lucky, as we get to use Crabhammer a few times before he dethaws and uses Mega Punch, eventually knocking him out with Crabhammer, before he sends out his last Pokemon, Rhyhorn, who we just one-shot with Crabhammer. This is the second time this dude has been just super underwhelming compared to the fights before him. I can think of 5 to 6 different trainers, plus our rival, who kinda just had scarier teams than him in this building alone. Oh well. We move on from Silphco and make our way to the Fighting Dojo, which I thought was a gym, but nope. It's just not, and we curb stomp everyone there. Like, literally, we one-shot every trainer with the move Stomp. Moving on, we head to the actual gym of Saffron City, Sabrina's Psychic Gym. I'm a bit worried about this gym, because I remember people talking about Psychic type being broken, but I'm not sure if that's only in Generation 1 or in all of them. And also that Sabrina was considered pretty difficult in the challenge runs I've seen before, but overall, I think we're a pretty high level, and it shouldn't be too horrible. The puzzle for getting to Serena was more teleport pad shenanigans, and upon challenging her, she leads with Kadabra. We lead with Dig, one-shotting the Kadabra and avoiding his Future Sight. Next up is Mr. Mime, who we use Stomp to one-shot. After that, she sends out Venomoth, who used Future Sight to deal a healthy chunk of damage to us, bringing us down to 94 HP, before getting one-shot by Stomp. Last up for Sabrina is an Alakazam, who we one-shot with Dig, just like our rival's Alakazam. So, yeah. Wasn't as hard as I thought. I must be massively over-leveled because it feels like ever since Koga, every fight's been a pushover. I'm sure it will get harder as we get closer to the end of the game, but damn, it feels good to stop gym leaders and rivals left and right. Moving on, we go to Cinnabar Island, and the gym is still locked. I'm unsure how to unlock it, but figure going into the mansion on the island would be fun, and this ended up being the right move. After going through this hidden switch on statue puzzle thing, I found a secret key that just so happened to unlock the gym. So Blaine's Fire Gym is by far the coolest one yet, featuring yes or no questions that decide whether or not you have to fight trainers to progress. I fail a couple of questions, but then feel this puzzle is a bit silly, as when I finish all the questions, I just walk out and heal at the Poke Center before coming back to fight him. It doesn't reset the doors or anything, so if you wanted more XP, you may as well fight every single trainer by getting all the questions wrong. Either way, we reach Blaine and challenge him to a battle, and he leads with Growlithe, who we one-shot with Crabhammer, followed up by one-shotting Ponyta with a Crabhammer, and then, you wouldn't have guessed it, but we one-shot oh, wait, we missed Crabhammer, and then get hit by Fire Blast. We Crabhammer again, leaving this Rapid Dash on a sliver of HP, giving it time to hit us with a second Fire Blast and get healed by Blaine, before we use a Stomp and Dig to finish off the Fire Horse. Blaine sends out his last Pokemon, an Arcanine. We lead with Dig against it and chuck We chuck it down! Yes, we chuck it down. We're gonna go with it. We chuck it down to half HP as the Arcanine misses a Fire Blast, and we use Dig to finish off the Fire Doggo and beat Blaine. Overall, this gym went as expected. Megalith was never gonna struggle fighting Fire-type Pokemon. We leave the gym only to be approached by Bill. Remember? Bill, the guy who turned himself into a Clefairy and we turned back into a human? Well, he invites us to go to some island and we say sure and hop on his private boat. We go to one island. Now, I don't mean like we go to one island. I mean, that's the name, one island. It's so weird. Anyways, we speak to Bill's buddy and he decides to give us an errand. We gotta go, deliver some meteorite or something. I didn't pay enough attention. We get there and all of a sudden now we're checking up on the daughter of the guy who we were supposed to deliver the rock to. We then have to fight a biker gang because they're blocking our path. It just got real weird out of left field and I'm actually kind of loving it. We find out the girl we're looking for is heading to some place called the Bond Bridge, which is where I imagine everything is shaken, not stern. On our way there, we fight our first trainer to have a Krabby, so Megalith committed her first murder, and her second since this girl had 2 Krabbies. I choose to believe that if a Pokemon kills another Pokemon, it's hunting, but when a Pokemon kills another of its own species, it's actually murder. Either way, we continue on into some forest or something, because I don't know at this point. I'm just running around looking for some lady in this general area. We find her deep in the forest and save her from the scary Pokemon, otherwise known as a Hypno, which I don't think is that scary. Like, why didn't you use a Ghastly or a Haunter? We take the girl back to her father, who sent us on this whimsical quest, and he gives me a Moonstone, which is gonna be totally useful in this run where I don't evolve any Pokemon, isn't it? Whatever. Let's go back to Bill and see what's going on. They say a bunch of scientific jargon, and then we return to Kanto with Bill and continue on our journey. Speaking of which, where do we go? The only gym I remember seeing and not doing was in Viridian City, so I guess I'll see if that's unlocked now, and it is. Alright, let's go beat up a gym leader! We enter the gym, and it has a relatively easy puzzle. It's just the bounce pads from the Team Rocket HQ earlier. We make it to the gym leader, and what the heck? It's Giovanni? Did they run out of creative character designs? Why is Mr. Mafia Team Rocket Man running a gym? How much spare time does the man have? It's like Pinky and the Brain. By day, he's an ordinary gym leader, and by night, he's trying to take over the world. What? Well, we challenge him, and he leads with a Rhyhorn, which we one-shot with Crabhammer. We also one-shot his Diglett with a Crabhammer before he sends out Nidoqueen, which we managed to knock to red HP with our first Crabhammer, while she retaliates using Earthquake, and then gets healed with a full restore as we miss a Crabhammer. We land our next Crabhammer, and she uses Earthquake again to bring us down to 98 HP, as she heals for a second time with a full restore. We eventually bring her down with a critical Crabhammer, and next up for Giovanni is Nidoking, who we nearly one-shot with Crabhammer as it uses Earthquake before finishing it off with Stomp as Giovanni sends out his last Pokemon, another Rhyhorn. This time, we miss our Crabhammer and it gets to use Scary Face to lower our speed before we use Crabhammer again to one-shot it. And after a surprisingly close fight for Giovanni, we collect our last gym badge from Mr. Mafia Man, and for once, I know what to do! It's time to take on the Elite Four. We go to Route 22, and Seraphim is here. Guess it's time to beat him into the ground for the 100th time. As always, he starts by sending out Pidgeot, which we, as normal, take it out with a couple of stomps, taking a bit of damage from Wing Attack. Next up, he sends out Venusaur, who we use Ice Beam against to get some chip damage in, as he uses Razor Leaf, taking us from 131 HP to 0 in one fell swoop. I'm unsure if I can beat this at my current level, but I'm gonna give it a couple more tries before grinding out more levels, and after about 7 to 8 attempts, it becomes quickly apparent that I can't stand up to this dumb plant frog's sharp leaves. After hunting down some trainers to beat like XP pinatas, Megalith reaches level 72. I don't feel like this is a high enough level, but I do give it a few attempts, and I'm not gonna bore you with me dying to Razor Leaf some more. Because I'm lazy, I decide to just just throw Megalith into the daycare. I know that it's not that fast, but I can just run up and down while doing some video editing, so that's what I'm gonna do. And I go and pick her up at level 75 to try our rival fight again. We get past Pidgeot just fine, and manage to get lucky with Ice Beam critting and Venusaur using Growth, so we take him down before he uses Razor Leaf. Then we sweep his Rhyhorn, Gyarados, and Growlithe relatively easily, but then his Alakazam uses Calm Mind and Psychic to down us. I think that with some better RNG and choices I can win, so I give it a few more tries at level 75, and after a while we get this beautiful run where we deal with Pidgeot and Venusaur without issue, as we flinch the Pidgeot with Stomp and freeze his Venusaur with Ice Beam. His Rhyhorn is one-shot by Crabhammer, and his Gyarados goes down to multiple stomps, only dealing minor damage to us with Hydro Pump in the process. His Growlithe is a simple one-shot with Dig, and then he sends out Alakazam, and my heart is pumping, thinking, oh no, please don't one-shot me. But we managed to take him out pretty easily. We get a flinch on our first stomp, and our second stomp takes him down. With this hard-fought victory, I'm getting really worried about the Elite Four. If Seraphim is causing me this much trouble, I can't imagine what they will do. We continue on Route 22, eventually reaching Victory Road. It takes us a long while to get through Victory Road, as the trainers are tough. We constantly return to the Poké Center, and it's a long trek back and forth. After reaching level 80, we make it through Victory Road, and arrive at the Indigo Plateau. So I guess it's time to try and become the Pokemon champion. Comment down below if you think I can beat the Elite Four. First up is Lorelei. She's focused on Ice-type Pokemon, so I decide to grab Rock Tomb, replacing Stomp, before attempting her battle. This isn't ideal, but we don't have access to any Electric-type moves in the game, and this was the only Rock-type I could learn, so we're going with it. We enter the arena and challenge her. She leads with Dugong, so we start by using 2 Rock Tombs to take it down as she uses Safeguard. Moving on, she sends out Cloyster, and we continue to use Rock Tomb while it spams Protect. We then miss a Crabhammer as Cloyster uses Hail, chipping us down every turn, while we use Rock Tomb to do the same kind of chip damage. She then uses Hidden Spikes, we miss a Rock Tomb, and then Cloyster uses Dive. We use Dig to dodge the attack, and dodge the Hail damage as well. This set of events happens one more time, and we take down Cloyster with our second Dig. Next up is her Slowbro, who we use Rock Tomb on, as it uses Surf on us, doing a surprising amount of damage. Our low special defense is starting to show. We continue the trades of Rock Tomb and Surf with the occasional Dig until we eventually lose the chip battle. I'm unsure if I need to level more or to find better moves to deal with her. I decide to go back to Victory Road for a few more levels to see if that changes the fight. I also reload an earlier save where we still have Stomp. We return at level 85 and challenge her again. This time, we deal with Dugong and Cloyster using Stomp and Dig to get through to Slowbro in much the same way, the only difference being that flinching made us get through Cloyster a lot easier. As we return to the fight with Slowbro, Stomp does much more damage than Rock Tomb did because we have a high attack stat. We trade Stomp and Surf back and forth until she uses a full restore, and we get super lucky with a crit Stomp followed by a normal one to knock out Slowbro. She then sends out Jinx, who we one-shot with Dig before she sends out her last Pokemon, Lapras. We're on 35 HP and need to deal a ton of damage to win, and unfortunately, we just don't have enough damage. Lapras uses Ice Beam and knocks us out. Wow, this is getting tough. I decide to try again with Rock Tomb instead of Stomp, but it makes no difference to the outcome. I guess I need a few more levels. I'm gonna use rare candies I've been saving the entire run to get our Krabby to level 90 and try again. I also replace Stomp with Strength because it seems like it's just stronger even though we lose the flinch, although I'm not entirely sure this was our best option. This time we deal with Dugong and Cloyster just as easily as every other time, getting a one-shot critical strength on Dugong and two-shotting Cloyster with strength after it spammed Protect. Slowbro is still just a brawl of trading Surf and Strength, but we come out of it better off this time with much more HP. Jinx is still a one-shot with Dig, and all that's left is this Lapras. We use Strength lowering its HP to the yellow, as she uses Surf to bring us to 55 HP while eating a berry to restore health. We use Strength to knock her to a sliver of HP before she uses a full restore and I thought it was over. But I was wrong, as we used strength twice in a row to take down Lapras and beat Lorelei. Oh lord, it took way too long to beat her. I'm starting to worry if I can beat the others. Moving on to the next Elite Four member, Bruno, and his fighting type Pokemon. I'm a bit less worried since I feel there's not many special fighting moves that scare me. He leads with an Onix, which we one-shot with Crabhammer. Next up is a Hitmonchan, which we almost one-shot with Strength, leaving him on a sliver of HP. He uses Rock Tomb and does next to no damage before using a full restore. We take down Hitmonchan by using Strength twice, and he sends out Hitmonlee, who outspeeds us, that's a first, using Double Kick before going down to a single Strength. Next, he sends out Machamp, and we use Dig to bring it down to yellow health before it uses Scary Face to lower our speed and eat a berry, healing it back to green health. He then uses Cross Chop as we use Ice Beam and get lucky, freezing the Machamp before using Crabhammer to take him down to a sliver of HP. He uses a full restore and we get a critical Crabhammer as he misses Crop Top. Did I just say Crop Top? Yes, he used Crop Top as we finish him off with a second Crabhammer. Last out for Pokemon is another Onix that uses Earthquake before we can one-shot it with Crabhammer, beating Bruno in the process. I'm glad that this was a much easier fight than Lorelei. Though the fights are still close, I'm feeling confident. And we can throw that confidence right out the window into the garbage as I start off the next fight against the Ghost-type Elite Four trainer Agatha by forgetting to heal and use Ethers between battles. She leads with a Gengar against our half-health Krabby and proceeds to curb stomp my 75 HP to 0 with such fun moves like Double Team and Shadow Punch. She punched my shadows so hard. Anyways, I come back this time with a fully healed and ethered Krabby, and this time we start off by using Ice Beam against her Gengar as she uses Double Team. We use Ice Beam again as she lands a Shadow Punch, bringing us down to 171 HP. We miss a Crabhammer and she lands a Confused Ray on us. We land our next Crabhammer to finish off Gengar, and next up is Golbat, who we nearly one-shot with Strength as she bites us and uses a full restore. 2 strengths later, Golbat is down and Agatha sends out Arbok, which is Cobra spelled backwards, who intimidates us, lowering our attack as we almost one-shot her with Dig before she uses Screech to lower our defense. Another Dig later and she goes down. Next up is another Gengar who we land an Ice Beam against before she uses Hypnosis, putting us to sleep before using Nightmare to deal a huge chunk of damage to us. We wake up and use Ice Beam again as Gengar uses Sludge Bomb and eats a berry to heal a bit. We use Crabhammer, knocking her down to yellow HP before she takes us down with a Shadow Ball. I won't bore you with subsequent attempts because I spent a solid 3 hours trying this fight over and over and over before finally finding a winning combo of TMs, RNG, masochism, and frustration to beat her, and it went a little something like this. We replaced Crabhammer with Rock Tomb because we have really bad special attack, but good attack stats and do more damage with Rock Tomb despite it not having the same type attack bonus. We then use Rock Tomb to take down her first Gengar with a lucky crit. Her Golbat suffers the same fate, just minus the crit. Arbok is taken out by 2 strengths and we are still at full health for the second Gengar. We use Ice Beam, getting a lucky freeze, and continue to use Ice Beam until Gengar uses a berry. We then chip it down to yellow HP, where we use Rock Tomb and miss before using Rock Tomb again to finish him off. This is a great position because we reach our final Pokemon Haunter with full HP. We then use Ice Beam as he uses Hypnosis to put us to sleep, but I gave Megalith a Chesto Berry to wake him up from sleep, so we wake up and use Rock Tomb to entomb this stupid ghost and win the fight against Agatha. I hate this elderly woman! And now we move on to the last of the Elite Four, Dragon Trainer Lance. He leads with Gyarados, and we use Rock Tomb to lower its HP down to the yellow, as he uses Dragon Rage to chip at us. Another Rock Tomb, and Gyarados is down! Next up is Dragonair. We use Ice Beam to lower it to yellow HP, as it uses Thunder Wave to paralyze us before using Hyper Beam to bring us down to 117 HP. Master Chief! As we take it down with our next Ice Beam, Lance sends out another Dragonair, and it uses Dragon Rage twice, as we can't move from paralysis 2 times in a row. It then finishes us off with an Outrage, and I'm a little bit unsure, but I think I can get further if I give Megalith a Cherry Berry to negate Dragonair's Thunder Wave. After doing that, we take down Gyarados with a couple of Rock Tombs again. We get past the first Dragonair using Strength twice, this time without being paralyzed as we ate our Cherry Berry. The second Dragonair isn't a huge issue either, falling to 2 strengths while using Safeguard. Then Lance sends out Dragonite, who uses Outrage to bring us to 31 HP. We then use Ice Beam to take him out, bringing us to Lance's last Pokemon, an Aerodactyl, who misses Hyper Beam as we try and one-shot it with Rock Tomb, but we fall short, only bringing it to yellow HP. We use Strength to try and finish it off, leaving it in red HP as it lands a Hyper Beam to take us out. It seems like this will be another Agatha situation of finding the right decisions to beat him, but I'm sure I can, so here's the winning fight. We breeze through Gyarados and the 2 Dragonairs with a combination of Rock Tombs and Strengths as before, arriving at his Dragonite, which we use Ice Beam on, which immediately freezes it solid, allowing us to take it down with another Ice Beam, bringing us yet again to this Aerodactyl, who uses Wing Attack as we miss a Rock Tomb. It uses Wing Attack again, and we use Rock Tomb, this time landing and lowering its speed. We now outspeed it and miss another Rock Tomb as we are on 58 HP. It uses Scary Face, which gives it the speed advantage again, as it uses Hyper Beam to bring us to 18 HP. We land our second Rock Tomb and take out Lance. That was a hard-fought victory, and I'm elated after hours of attempts, just like Agatha. And then I read that word, and I know it's not even close to over. It's time to take on Seraphim for the last time. He leads with Pidgeot, and we nearly one-shot it with Rock Tomb as it uses Aerial Ace to chip at our HP. It then uses a full restore as we use Strength twice to take it down. Next up is Venusaur. We use Ice Beam, and it does little damage. He then starts taking in Sunlight, so we use Dig to avoid his Solar Beam and bring him down to low HP. After Venusaur eats a Citrus Berry, we use Strength to finish him off. Next up is Alakazam, who I was positive would outspeed us. I had no illusions that we would be faster, but it didn't, so we use Strength to one-shot it. Next up is his Rhydon, which uses Scary Face as we use Ice Beam. We finish it off with another Ice Beam, but he lowered our speed enough that the Gyarados he sends out next outspeeds us. We take a Hydro Pump and use a Rock Tomb to lower his HP to about half and slow him down. We then use Dig to dodge a Hydro Pump before I realize Dig won't hit him. He lands a Hydro Pump as we finish digging, and we use Strength to bring him down to yellow HP as he uses Dragon Rage to bring us to 21 HP. We finish him off with another Strength and level up to get to 23 HP as he sends out Arcanine, who uses Extreme Speed to finish us off. Damn, we nearly beat him first try. I bet with some minor changes and maybe replacing Rock Tomb with Surf, I could win this. So we do just that, trading out Rock Tomb for Surf as we desperately need a Water move to stop Rhydon from slowing us, and I believe we can deal with Gyarados without using Rock Tomb. We use Strength to blow past his Pidgeot with a critical one-shot. His Venusaur fails to impress us as it uses Growth while we use Ice Beam and Dig to beat it without taking any damage. Next up is Alakazam, which goes down to a single Strength. The Rhydon is now one-shot by Surf, leaving us to fight Gyarados once again. We spam a Strength at him as he spams Hydro Pump and Dragon Rage to chip at us. We finish him off with 105 HP to spare as Arcanine comes out. We outspeed him this time and use Dig to avoid his first Flamethrower and deal a third of his HP in damage, but he uses Flamethrower again, bringing us down to 38 HP. We eat a Citrus Berry to get back up to 68 HP, and then land a Surf to finish him off, and just like that, Krabby is in the Hall of Fame. Along with the HM Pokemon, cause I'm an idiot. And we answer the question, can I, a Pokemon noob, beat Fire Red with a team of only one Krabby? Yes. Yes, I can. Thank you to my patrons and channel members. All of you are beautiful, and if you like the video, leave a like and give me a comment telling me what you would like to see next. If you dislike the video, leave a dislike and give me a comment telling me what you dislike. This is my first time doing a video like this, so if you want to see more, share this around and tell me you want to see more. Alright, thanks, bye! Oh wait, I forgot something! Special thanks to Kayla for making my avatar, as well as Scooby and Icy Nightmare for proofreading my script. You all are dope.